They do have a timeout.
The Golden State Warriors are playing the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Decide not to use it.
Golden State with 52 wins and only 5 losses.
Curry, way downtown.
Steph Curry, on the brink of the greatest offensive season ever, does something magical one more time.
Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
In a historic game where Steph Curry put up 46 points, tied an NBA record of 12 three-pointers, including one of the most impressive games in NBA history, marking off what might just be the most iconic game of 2016. But there's a lot more to this moment than what meets the eye. Let's flash back and look over one of the most iconic games in NBA history. The Golden State Warriors, sitting at 52-5, including a 24-game win streak to start the season. Steph Curry has been changing the game of basketball in front of our own eyes. The Warriors are proving to be an even stronger team than last year when they won the NBA title. And while they are good, they're not without challengers this season, namely the Thunder and the Spurs. Also, on a side note, the Spurs finished with 67 wins this year. For some reason, we don't talk about that. But anyways, the OKC Thunder were seen as a prime target to defeat this team. Russell Westbrook was fresh off of a 28-point per game season, and he was making a very strong case as the second best guard in the league. And of course, there's Kevin Durant, one of the greatest scorers of our generation, only 2 years removed from his MVP. If there is one team in the league that could keep up with the firepower and the pace that the Golden State Warriors have, it's the OKC Thunder. And one thing that isn't really talked enough about in this specific game is how well the Thunder played. And they started out this game full swinging, punching Golden State in the mouth with a 10-point lead to end the first quarter. Throughout the second quarter, the Curry magic started to pick up as he hit 3 big three-pointers. But still, every time Curry and the Warriors make a play, the Thunder are able to respond. Well, at one point, the Warriors chin the lead down, the Thunder go on a late run and are up 11 points at the half. Curry also has a quick injury scare off of a fast break, but thankfully he was well enough to be able to stay in. The Warriors finally sniffed the lead with about a minute left in the third quarter after Steph Curry hits a step-back 3, but then a Kevin Durant pull-up on the break nullifies that. Curry puts up 8 points, including 2 deep threes to bring the lead down. After a failed lob by Kevin Durant, Curry then finds Klay Thompson on the fast break and he hits his first string of clutch shots. The Thunder take the ball up court, up by 1 point with 18 seconds left. After a quick scramble, Ibaka finds Kevin Durant, who's able to nail a big 3 in the face of Andre Iguodala. 16 seconds left, down by 4 points. Not exactly a winning scenario for the defending champ. Klay then lays the ball in to narrow it down to only 1 possession. In one of the worst mistakes of his career, Kevin Durant throws what would practically be a jump ball up to midcourt. After a scramble for the ball, it comes down in the hands of Klay Thompson. Thompson then finds Andre Iguodala, who is basically fouled at the buzzer, giving him a chance to tie the game with 2 free throws. And now, after all that, we enter into overtime. To keep up the usual pace of the game, the Thunder jump out to a quick 5-point lead in the first 30 seconds. Then after that, Curry drives the lane, takes a tough hit, but is unable to complete the and one. But Kevin Durant has just reached his 6th foul and is fouled out for the game. From here is where things start to look a little better for our defending champ. Curry then goes to hit his 10th 3 of the game. This is tying the record for the most three-pointers ever made in a season in February. Let me say this again, he tied the record for the most threes in a season with 24 games left to play. He then is going to break that record with an even more difficult shot afterward. Yet, despite a 40-point performance from Steph Curry, the Warriors are still down 118-115. They're inbounding the ball from the sideline, down by 3. They have the greatest shooter of all time on their team, so naturally, everyone in the world thinks the ball is going to be going to Curry. Instead, Draymond Green is going to fake the handoff. This would make Klay Thompson the next best target, right? After all, Klay was having a pretty historic season as well. At the end of that season, he would go on to hold the record for the 3rd most threes ever made in the season, only behind the 2 MVP years of Steph Curry. Thompson was also averaging 22 points per game, while shooting 43% from 3, making 3.5 per game. And Klay Thompson, not exactly known for his finishing game, is much more of a perimeter threat. Off of a backdoor screen, instead of finding himself in the corner, Klay Thompson takes the pass cutting toward the hoop. In one of the most underrated clutch plays of his career, Klay gets the reverse layup and is fouled by Russell Westbrook. We are all tied at 118 with 11 seconds left. Unfortunately for Thunder fans, the ball is in the hands of Russell Westbrook. who isn't exactly known for having the best late game heroics. But regardless, he's still in the perfect spot to hit the shot as time expires, defeat the defending champs, and derail their historic season. We start out with a Westbrook ISO. Defenders clear out of the way, but Clay does a good job riding on Westbrook's hip. Westbrook shoots the awkward runner and it clanks out. Draymond then tips the ball to Iguodala, who immediately gets it to Curry. There are 5 seconds left, tied at 118. After amazing shots and amazing plays from both sides, this game might finally come to an end. But things aren't over for the Thunder. All 5 of their men are at half court. There is not a single Warrior who has even crossed midcourt, let alone get near the basket. For the Warriors, they practically only have one option: call a timeout, reset the offense. With 2 good playmakers in Iguodala and Green and 2 of the greatest shooters of all time, an inbound at the buzzer is near impossible for the Thunder defense to stop. Instead, they forego the timeout. Curry takes the ball and crosses half court. And what's this? More than 3 feet of space on Steph Curry? For him, that's practically a layup. And to tie the record for the most threes made in the game, Steph Curry does it one more time.
Try not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
The Thunder controlled this game from start almost until finish. The Warriors would go on a run to narrow the lead, but every time the game got close, Durant and the Thunder would find a way to pull away. And only when we see Curry pull out something we never knew he had is when we see our battle end, and the Warriors remain victorious. Looking back in hindsight, we can see with this game for what it truly is. On paper, Steph Curry's season just doesn't even make sense. From how amazing of a scorer and a shooter he was, to a basketball team only losing 9 games. If I were to tell you what Steph Curry did that year, you just would not believe it if you didn't watch it. And that is this game right here. If I had to pick one game, one 3-hour segment of an entire season to show you how damn good Steph Curry was, for the Thunder, and more importantly for Kevin Durant, this is one of the last few times that we can truly root for him as a fan base and see him in a positive light. In only a few months span, he would once again nearly get the edge on Curry, only to lose a 3-1 lead. Instead of swearing to defeat him, he then joins them. While this shot, however improbable, won the game, it is all the small aspects that lead up to it. Clay's fast break shot, Durant making an awful pass, a questionable foul call at the end of the game, Durant fouling out in overtime, Klay Thompson hitting the impressive layup, Westbrook taking a bad shot, not wasting the clock, or even Steve Kerr calling a timeout. If any one of these events were different, the Warriors could lose. If the Warriors lose, they no longer break the record, but a loss to the Thunder would only show the weakness of the Warriors and blood in the water for the rest of the Western Conference team. And finally, the last major part of the play is the call. There is no iconic play in NBA history that does not have an iconic call to go with it. And of course, Mike Breen was the one hosting tonight's game. But Breen's commentary, where he's both filled with poise and excitement, perfectly lays out the situation. The chaoticness of the Thunder trying to get back on defense, and the confidence within Steph and the Warriors. These are some of the most iconic basketball words ever. That is the 2015 Golden State Warriors. This is the shot heard around the world.
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! With 0.6 of a second remaining.